Hello and welcome to Elden Ring. We're on part 20 of my All Quests, All Endings guide, and we're going to deal with Selen's quest. So we're back here at the Waypoint ruins and we're going to speak to Sellen and exhaust all her dialogue. She's telling you where to go here. So this is the best side to Grace, Fort Faroth. Go to here, then jump on Torrent. Make sure you come here after Selen's given you the Selia Sealbreaker. It's a bit of a guy to deal with in the graveyard area. Just, take out any skeletons. Shouldn't give you too much trouble. You can run past them, but we're going to deal with them. Look out for the sorcerer chap. We'll cast lots of spells at you. We're going to use Unendurable Frenzy. Then behind this gravestone that we were at there just before, directly behind it, you'll see that illusionary wall. This is a Selia Hideaway, and we've got a boss to destroy down here, which grab a summoning pool, of course. And we've got the all-important next part of Selen's quest. So, deal with him. Make your way down here, deal with him. Another illusionary wall. Cross the crystal bridge. You can run past these, but I like to take them out just to make it simpler. There is a royal revenant down there, which you can take out with a ranged weapon without going down, which I highly recommend because royal revenants are horrible, horrible things to fight. We're struggling just to get that shot of what we can do there. There's one. Again, these tend to, you hit them and then they sort of disappear for a while. And if you do get into close range with them, they will hit you multiple times. But there we go, we've killed it, so we can grab a few items. Grab a few silver fireflies and make our way up here. We've got those snail type creatures to deal with. Make sure you jump over the gap. Then going to drop down here, take out the snail, run through here, take out the snail. Stake of Marika there. And then there is a secret area around here, but we're going to take up here, up this crystal, through this cave, then drop down, take out the sorcerers, and I'll give you the Crystalian ashes. Another nice spirit ashes you can summon. Then we're going to make our way down to the boss room. Now these can be a pain. You've got to fight 3 Crystalians all at once. Recommend you use your Mimic just to take some of the aggro off you. And be prepared to have to deal quite a bit of damage before they start really losing a lot of damage. And they also deal Scarlet Rot as well, which is quite a pain. I lose to these 2 or 3 times before I find them how to deal with them. I think initially I'm trying to do it without the Mimic, then I try it with the Mimic. And then eventually it's just a matter of trying to be that bit more careful, preserving your health a bit more, making sure you dodge those attacks, or making sure you don't let that Scarlet Rot build up. Start to get you, particularly if like me you're on a new game plus above 0. So we're going for the usual buff setup. Black Dumpling Helm with Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. And we're going to try and get a little bit extra damage buff in here. Just to try and boost that up a bit. We've got Seppuku in. We're going to use a Rune Arc again there. And then we're going to summon the Mimic and try and get healed. Actually looking for a different weapon there. We're going to try a bit of Black Flame Tornado here because this does have certain damage benefits. It works well against the Crystalian that you meet under via Lucaria Academy, where you collect the Terra Magica spell. Again, you've really got to look out for that scarlet rot with it. Hardly doing any damage at them, but you find with these crystal enemies, once you've dealt a certain amount of damage, they'll start to take more like normal damage. It's as if they've got a hard outer shell that you've got to break through before you can really start being effective. So that's now much more like it. We're now doing much more like normal damage. Still needing a bit of flame cleanse me on there, just to do that scarlet rot. Mimic's dying now, so we really need to get at least a couple of these out of the way. And again, we'll use a black flame tornado just to really melt them bosses. And the mimic's more or less out of it. Using a warming stone there, I think, but we can regroup and then try and get some ranged attacks in. Again, not doing great damage with that. That was a bit more like it. First one did about 300 damage and we did a couple of thousand. So, that's the Crystalian trio dealt with, and that'll give us a Crystal Torrent spell, which is pretty good. Change our setup again. Then we're going to go back to the start of the dungeon and we're going to get the secret bit for Selen's quest. So head back in. Don't forget to pick up the Grace as well. Not quite ready to level up yet, so run down here. Kill the guy, run round here. Deal with him. With him, and we've fallen into here, but that means we're now with the Royal Revenant, which invariably tends to kill me. I really don't like those. We're going to go for it again though, and we're going to try be a bit more strategic this time. Don't actually need to deal with it, but seeing as our runes are down there, and there's about 2 million of them, I think, we're going to deal with it. Ideally very carefully. Again, that's a nice bit of damage, just one hit. And there we go, dealt with, and we can grab our runes, grab some silver fireflies, and make our way to the next area. So up here, deal with these again. I appreciate we've already done these, but it's kind of easier than trying to make your way back from the boss room. Drop down here, deal with that sorcerer guy. And this is where you need the seal, the Selia Sealbreaker, which Sellen gave you. And that will open this gate, and you can find this sorcerer at the end here. So what we need from it is the spell. So make sure that's it, we've got Stars of Ruin, and we're going to come back here shortly to grab the armour set. But for now, we're going to go back to Waypoint Ruins and speak to Sellen. Show her the sorcery. She'll be very happy. And she'll give you a Starlight shard as a token of her thanks. So now you can go back to the two places where you've got those sorceries, and you can grab their armour sets. First of all, though, we're going to deal with Selen's next part of her quest. Deal with the big ball of sorcerer head thingy. Take out the arrow guys. Run down here. Grab yourself an ambush shard, and then speak to Sellen. She'll give you her Primal Glintstone, which is basically kind of like giving you her soul, so that you can go and put it somewhere else. And she's going to have an interaction with Jerren shortly. So after you spoke to an exhausted dialogue, reload the area. 4th Church America is your best bet. Quickly ride back to where Selen's trapped. quickly deal with that sorcerer ball again. May as well deal with the archery type dudes. Get yourself a free acupuncture there. And head down, and now Jerren will be here. Speak to Jerren and exhaust all his dialogue. And he'll explain to you why Selen's not very liked at the academy. And he suspects her soul lives on somewhere. So he kind of knows what you're up to with Selen here. Once you spoke to him, we can head to Rani's Rise. Then head over to Seluvis' secret cellar. Through here, you'll find Sellen, and if you put her Primal Glintstone in, it'll basically be giving her a new body. And she'll be very happy. Once you spoke to her, exhaust all the dialogue, then head back to the academy. So now, we've got to decide whether we're going to side with Selen or with Jerren. If you side with Jerren, that's going to get you a ancient smithing stone. I prefer to side with Selen. You get a nice armour set with that, and you get another small reward. And now you'll find Renna's gone, and it looks like Selen's in charge of the academy. But don't get too attached to her. Just exhaust the dialogue, speak to her, take everything in, and she will give you a Glintstone Kris. So that's your other reward for siding with Selen. And from this point now, you can buy Shard Spiral, which is a really good spell. Highly recommend it if you're a magic user type build. Then we can go to this site of grace here, and we can grab Azur's armour set. Then we can go back to the Selia Hideaway. Again, Fort Faroth. Use the Spirit Spring to get down. Just ride past that guy this time. Run down to the cave. And we need to get back to where that Sealbreaker was used. Feel free to deal with the mining weird guys if you want to. We need to make our way down here. There's the sorcerer, deal with him, and you can grab Lusat's armour set as well. Both pretty good, got different properties. And if we go back, we'll find Selen is now in one of these giant sorcerer ball things. So you can grab her Witchstone crown. Don't really understand why this has happened to her. I thought it was a bit sad because I quite liked Selen, even though I kind of get why people didn't like her at the academy, but it still seems a bit mean. But there you go. So obviously we can speak to Bok again, and at this point, if you'd got the Prattling Pate, you would be able to complete Bok's quest. Just don't give him the Larval Tear. Just use the You're Beautiful Prattling Pate when you're standing next to him, and that will complete Bok's quest. Now we're going to head out to Renna's Rise, which will now be open. So go from Rani's Rise up here, find the front door, climb the ladder, then open this chest and you'll find there's the Rani's arm set, and then take this portal. This will take you to Ainsel River main, and then you need to pick up the Miniature Rani doll, find a site of grace, there's one nearby, and sit down and talk to it. You have to talk to it about 3 times, maybe 4 I think, before it will talk back. She's basically trying to pretend not to be Rani, but she'll eventually cave in and speak to you. And she'll tell you you've got to defeat the Baleful Shadow, which is a bit like, basically looks a lot like Blythe. So, grab a summoning pool, make your way down this way. There are a couple of minor things to deal with here, such as the Falling Star Beast thing, which is a throwing rocks at you. Need to get a bit closer there. Shouldn't give you too much trouble though. This one isn't particularly strong. Ranged weapon works well. That's him dealt with pretty much. There's also a few of those Miranda flowers around here to take out. Again, something fiery is recommended. Surprisingly tough for these are. Get yourself a stone sword key there. And you've got some more of these guys to deal with here. Feel free to head over here and give yourself claim and ashes. Might be useful. Another ghost glovewort. We need to head through those ruins there. Feel free to run past these guys if you're not inclined to fight them. We've got another falling starbeast to deal with any second. And some more ghost gloveworts to grab there, 6 and 7. And we've got a few annoying ants to tackle as well to get to the next area. At this stage, I'm just trying to figure out where the baleful shadow spawns. I often get confused. It's not in this area, it's actually much further on, but feel free to skip forward 5 or 10 minutes at this stage, because we don't really, this is really not part of the quest line. I'm literally just exploring, so we'll get out to the next area and we'll talk about the where we can get the wing. I think it's the Wing of Ainsel weapon, which has got a really nice Ash of War on it. Just need to do a couple of tasks to get to it. We've got one of these armoured ant things to deal with here. Do watch out for it. Fairly tough these are. We can head down here, grab that ghost glovewort. But that's not quite where we want to go yet. We're going to go back up to where the ants were, then head down this passage here. Nice free backstab for him. Take him out. Then we need to deal with this beastie thing. We'll just grab that smithing stone first. Find a good spot to stand. Use your range attacks. Make sure you stand clear when it's attacking back. And that's that dealt with. And that bridge that you can see with the chest on it, that's where you're going to find the Wing of Ainsel weapon. Then you need to get down from here, so just drop down carefully, ideally better than I did. Then if you go to the right, there's a way you can drop down more safely. Then go and speak to the merchant, buy any items you want. Recommend the Gravity Stone Fan, the Celestial Dew, the cookbooks, and the Prisoner's Arm set. And at this stage, I'll be honest, you could probably leave it for this part now. I'm gonna leave it running while we explore, but really we're gonna pick this up properly in part 21, where we're gonna go and face off with the Baleful Shadow to deal with the next part of Astel's quest, Rani's quest. Then we're going to move on to fight Astel, Natural Born of the Void. So feel free to watch me fighting and exploring, but otherwise, if you want to just follow the quests, then join me in part 21, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.